Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Randall Laughlin here. We're on The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. When I'm not doing my TV shows, I do 3 of them every Thursday back to back to back. I'm a researcher. I delve into the human body at the cellular level, chemically, biologically speaking, and I look for cause and effect relationships. And I want to take those relationships and translate them into the ability of people to make good, wise decisions about their health, their wellness, their aging, longevity, those kinds of things. That's where I specialize. So I try to focus on what works and what doesn't work. So I kind of consider myself now, rather than an author of health and wellness books, really an author of a decision support manuals for aging. So that's kind of a little bit about me. And right now, our guest today is Linda Fronek, and she is also known as the Coach. So the Coach, please join me up here on stage.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
What part of the world are you in? I tried to call earlier, and I knew it was overseas. I don't know where.
I am in the Black Hills of South Dakota. We are about 20 miles from Mount Rushmore.
That's strange, because I could have swore I put your phone number incorrectly, and this is, you have to have an international, 00, whatever. Okay, why? Maybe it's probably personal, my error. Doesn't
no
matter.
worries at all. But that is where I'm located, and it is right in the heart of the USA, actually very close to the center of the nation. So kind of a fun fact.
How far is that from Sturgis?
I am in Sturgis.
Oh, wow.
I am 1 mile from Main Street, legendary Sturgis, the annual rally. So I am right here. You're familiar then. Have you been to the rally?
I have not, but one of the guys who worked for me over in Germany in the military, that was where his home was. He and his wife have lived there. His wife's passed. But Dennis still lives there. I guess she got a Christmas card from him. But he lives in Sturgis in the summer, and I guess with his kids and whatever down in Florida in the wintertime.
Very common. We have a lot of friends that live in Florida, snowbirds, as you will. Do you speak German as well? Because I lived there for some time myself.
Ich spreche kein Deutsch. Ich verstehe ein wenig.
I'm Vinnigan. Yeah, good now.
I'm a tourist. I've been to 62 countries. I try to learn the local language. Yes, no, please, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Where's the bathroom? 2 beers, please. The basic tourist kind of stuff that you need. So that is what I really know. But I lived in Germany for 2 years, and so I had to be a little bit more adept at that. So I don't speak German, but I understand a little.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's nice that you integrate with the culture and can be polite. And if that's all that you can speak, perfect. That'll get you through. It's a very international city and country, and they can speak perfect English.
Yeah, and same thing in Spanish and Hangul and other. I try to at least get like today I use my Korean a lot because it's just an uncommon thing to use.
Right.
And so it's just my way of keeping up with a little bit of the old dialect. Anyway, the story's about you, so let's get off of me. The Coach. How did you get the moniker The Coach?
It was awarded to me unexpectedly. I was providing so much feedback and coaching and mentorship to those I was working with and friends and colleagues. They just said, I really feel like when I need you, I can just call on you when I'm working through something, or I need that extra boost. I just feel I can count on you, Coach. And it just stuck. So it was a very humbling experience to feel I was really making a difference and an impact in those. And that's in fact where the book derived from, was just providing that level of I guess you would say, white glove service to your friends and colleagues and helping them along their journey and learning about myself in the process.
So you started out the normal way we all start. You get your education, you start working, you pick up a skill, and then you started. So what do you tell people? What do you coach? I didn't really introduce that at the beginning. Shame on me for that. I should have. But
No, yes. So it's career advancement and also business development. And so the coaching that I provide is really just to improve the skill set that you have the confidence to know you're there for a reason and a purpose, and just to always be thoughtful about your brand and how it speaks to those you're working with and how you approach different situations. So corporate coaching, performance coaching, and just business development in general are the key elements of both my services that I provide and what I've written about in the corporate coach approach.
so you provide services to the firm itself as like an internal training coach for their employees, or do you work specifically with employees, or both?
Both. Yes, all of the above. Small organizations, I do some executive one-on-one coaching, also provide mentorship and growth to larger organizations. And I've supported so many wonderful industries, markets, and divisions around the world and around time. And you made a comment about the education and the skill set, and then going forward in the career. It's not been a clear path, and that's something really important to recognize. I did my higher education later in my adult life, if you will, and it was a much different experience than when I started early on. So there were so many twists and turns with moving for different economical impacts or different roles that came my way. So I was very adaptive and went to different educational programs throughout my time, but I did always learn that from chaos and change, there can be an opportunity. And so I've really pride myself with being responsive to the situation at the moment and just working through it and doing the best that I could. But I did do my graduate degree later in life, and I wrote about that in the book in different chapters about the different experiences I had from kind of changing course here and there. Not to go too far off topic, but I wanted to highlight that it doesn't have to be a prescriptive path. You sometimes have to realize something's not working at the moment, or where do I need to make a change at this present time? And long ago, I thought, I'm going to be an interior designer. I love it. I love interior design. I'm going to do that right out of high school. And I did. And then I found out it really wasn't the right path. It was the starving artist is real. And I thought, okay, I maybe need to do something different. So I went back to school and started working in project management, and it just kind of went from that point on. So
I understand. I thought I was going to be a chemist at one point in time. Until I got an invitation to Vietnam, and that kind of changed a lot of things. So things happen. What can you say?
Yeah. My father was going to be an animator for Disney, and he was drafted a day after he received the letter from Disney. So he was very discouraged. He never went back to Disney, but from that, we really had a chance to get that creative element from him. And I do appreciate that. So there you go. You change course and you move on.
You do.
But interior design is still very important to me. I still love it every single day. And you'll see the painting in behind me was an original commission from a friend of mine, Jacqueline Reinhardt. So I still am very near and dear to the design community.
Yeah, I use my chemistry every day to research the human body. That's one of the things I really and truly enjoy. But it wasn't until my wife came down with breast cancer about 10 years ago that I even got involved in going back into that. So for, decades I didn't use it, and then all of a sudden I'm using it on a daily basis. So it's nice to have that in your tool bag.
Yeah.
No, you used a term when I was doing some research on you, personal branding. And I want to talk to you briefly about that and then relate something that I think is important. So tell us a bit about personal branding and the people that you help.
Personal branding is really key because it's something that's intentional, and it's how you would like others to see you and to perceive you and to understand what you represent. A lot of folks get it confused with reputation. And so I'd like to clarify, and I do so in chapter 1 of the book, that reputation is what precedes you, what folks come to understand on their own, whereas personal branding is what you message and prefer others you are synonymous with. And personal brand, I think, is very important, but a lot of folks think it is a luxury or I'll make time for it later. But really, it has to be part of your daily intentional development, and you will never have time. You have to make time, but it shouldn't be thought of as a luxury, but really something that's integral into your profession and your career, and also your your individual life. It doesn't have to just be professional. It should be very holistic across what others come to expect from you.
I noticed in my corporate life, training was all focused on how you can do your job to improve the company. Doesn't matter what it was, but everything was focused on improvement of the company, which is fine. That's what they're paying for. They want that productivity.
Sure.
But late in life, I got involved with my wife with a multi-level marketing opportunity, and all of a sudden, I was introduced to the world of personal training that I was literally ignorant of, and I just, whoa, why didn't they teach me this earlier? And it was your brand is there whether you know it or not.
Correct. Absolutely. And so it's really key to guide what that brand is. And that's exactly why it's chapter 1, because the book you can read at any point you want. You can jump in at chapter 5, 6, 7. But if you're starting at the beginning, it's really important to understand that brand is in everything you do. It's never too late. But it's really important that it resonates in all that you do, all that you say, the actions you take, and sometimes the actions you don't take. There's that component as well.
That's actually a very big one.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I mean, it's interesting. You interview for a job or you interview people for a job, doesn't matter which part of the table you're sitting on. And there are, I'm not gonna say secrets that help you, but there are certain things that I hired a guy out in California when I was working for Memorex, and we had a vapor recovery system that had problems with it. Yes. And we're walking around and talking about things. And I really didn't want to hire the guy, but he had a 3.9 grade point average. And I said, in college, I said, what'd you get a B in? He said, weightlifting. And I said, okay.
That's fair.
I said, okay. And so I came back and I did hire him. And about a month later, he gives me this 30-page thing on how you can improve the productivity of this. And so I think we saved $2 million in waste that one particular, just one thing. I mean, it's just.
And good on you for having that emotional intelligence to ask, what is that reason? What was the area that you fell short? Because if it's not reflective of what's needed of that person at that moment, it doesn't matter as much. So, and weightlifting, hey, I mean, I'm all about weightlifting and weight training, and I've done a few courses myself. That was one of my electives, and I actually ended up teaching the class for the professor who was probably 10 years my junior. But it was a very interesting exercise. But that's good on you for asking, and that's really important to understand. It's not all on the cover reading, right? Like judging the book by its cover. You really need to maybe dig a little bit and see what else is beneath.
Yeah. The reason I hired him is because he sent to the company, to me, I think a 12 options on how to fix that solvent recovery problem that we talked about. He wasn't, aware of the specifics, but he says, if it's this problem, this can be. So he was an engineering major, and that's what his mind was so set on fixing things that we don't see, but he could see there was something wrong with it.
Yes. Well, it's good that he had that different perspective and that option, and that was his brand, if you will, right? Like he's providing those solutions to talk through, and it might not be quite right, but I'm at least going to put it out there, have a conversation, and then we can course correct as we learn more. So
what was the inspiration for the book? Do you have the book in front of you?
I do. Yes, it's right here. Corporate Coach Approach. And the inspiration came from being asked a pattern of questions, and very similar answers were coming, and I thought, to be more efficient, I should just write a book. And my business partner and editor and house editor said, you should write a book. And I said, okay, I will. So I did. And it was really a nice experience to reflect on my career and my journey and the ways that I had helped folks and make sure that it's reflective of this and being very concise. I really pride myself on productivity and efficiency, and it's 20 years in less than 200 words because time is short. We're competing for a lot of information, a lot of different platforms, and I wanted to give something that's digestible that people can pick up and read and have that consolidated manual to have that kind of coach in your corner at the moment you need it. So it's written in a very consistent structure where you understand every chapter is going to have a certain way, and it ends with a checklist of best practices. If you only have 2 minutes before a meeting and you don't have time to read the whole chapter 6 on meetings, you can just go right to the best practices, read through it, and see your top 10 to survive that meeting, or maybe even save the day with a client or a project.
Is that one of the benefits your book has that others in that same field don't have?
I would agree, yes. And that was another element to the book. It's so heavy, they're so dense, there's so much material. And if you notice on the cover that I have multiple books for the one book here, which really is to be satirical, but also indicate you can get enough information. You're going to learn from many. I'm not claiming to be that you shouldn't read those books. You definitely should educate yourself at whatever level you feel comfortable or have time for. But if you just need something quick right now, I really am hoping the vision to be that you can learn something, apply it immediately, and really accelerate your career faster than you might from other materials or resources.
When you come across an individual who has a lot of potential, but the company has been around for a while and management just does not promote well or doesn't promote from within, how do you handle situations like that?
You have to look at the whole organizational structure too, that we're not privy to everything, right? You have to have a lot of conversations, and there might be something that you're not sure is going to happen, a reorg or a merger or acquisition, whatever the case might be. I think you just really have to be respectful with those you report to and work with, and really understand that it might not be you. It might be them. They say that in movies or comedies, but it might in fact just be the company itself. So I think if you're following your brand, you're following your course of action, and you're getting what you need at the moment to grow in your career, then that's just fine. And maybe you hold steady for a little bit until you know more. It's important to not jump right into another situation. The grass isn't always greener. It might be the devil might be better to stick with and keep working through it. But sometimes if you've hit a point where you're just not growing anymore, or you're not enjoying it, or you're not seeing that maybe it's the path for you, it's perfectly fine to look elsewhere. But I really stress with individuals to think about the cause and effect and really understand, is there going to be a better ROI? Is it the right time? Do you have enough knowledge in that particular role to stand out? The market is saturated now. You have 1,000 applications for one job because applying for a job is much easier than it used to be with AI and different software. So if you leave a role, are you financially stress tested to withstand could be a very long process of finding another? Or can you do it in parallel and see what is going to shake out for you in the end? So a long-winded way of saying, choose wisely, but look at all the different options and be very considerate. Maybe speak with others that have that role. And is it going to be a good fit for you? So really talk to your SMEs, your subject matter experts, your network, and see what might be the right fit at the right time.
I've always maintained that if you like your boss, or you like your salary, or you like your coworkers, if two of those are present, you're probably never going to leave your job. You're going to be. You can work for a bad boss. You can work with employees, but if two of those are there, you're generally going to stay.
Right.
But if two of them are not there, the stress levels go so high that it makes it very difficult for you on a daily basis. That's just been my experience over the decades. So
I would agree. Yeah, it's important. You're not going to have 100% every day. And some days are really fantastic, and you have to really enjoy those moments or that recognition or that acknowledgement. Or if you have a bad day or a bad situation, is there something else in the background? Or is it just maybe your expectations were not met? So really you have to think through, what did I learn from this experience? Is it something that I can change the narrative down the road or change the process? And if not, like you said, is 2 out of 3, that's not bad at all. That's a pretty good ratio.
We're getting ready very shortly to go to a commercial break, about a minute and a half or so. We'll be back. But I do want to cover some more information on the kinds of companies that you specialize in, the ones that you can help the most. So that's where I want to take the conversation when we come back from the break. So that being indicated, let's go ahead and go to a break.
Okay.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day, Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Howdy, Reverend Laughlin here. We're on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And my guest today is Nicole Fronek. Nicole, please join me back up here on stage.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Glad to be back.
Nicole, I live in the Houston area, and we have petrochemical and oil and medical, huge medical facilities, NASA, construction. We have everything. So what kinds of industries do you prefer to work with, and which ones do you have a lot of success with?
I don't have a preference on which ones I prefer. I have learned so many different things from working with industries and individuals that I never thought I would. So I'm really open to the different industries. As far as size or scale, startups are very interesting. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of optimism, and it's really a great opportunity to channel that enthusiasm and really help them on their path with their personal brand and their career development as well as their business development. And then larger organizations, it really is a good stress test for everyone to how we can improve and be more productive and more agile, as we have to do often more with less. So I've found a lot of success with corporate real estate, oil and energy, healthcare, all of the above, because you're really learning something every single time. And I'm a forever student. I think you mentioned too that you really enjoy education and research, and that's part of your brand. And I really think it's fantastic to learn different things from different individuals where you might not have otherwise looked. And then locally here in the Black Hills, I do work with the Workforce Disability Network and have a wonderful client there. We do executive training. So there's nice ways to work with individuals and also with teams and groups and all of the above. So it's a really great way to continue my career path as I learn from others as well. And I really enjoy learning from those different situations and how I can evolve in my own career path. So it's definitely an opportunity for both sides.
How do you help employees that are going overseas for an assignment with the company, where they're now going into a cultural, so many different things are foreign to somebody who's never left the United States? How can you help them prepare for that?
Yeah, and I had that experience myself. I went abroad and worked for Hewlett Packard for 4.5 years, and it was only supposed to be a 3-month contract. But I was so keen on learning something new and helping out as much as I can and taking on special assignments. So it ended up being 4.5 years, which was great. I traveled a lot, so it was worth it. How to be prepared. I read dozens of books. I did a lot of research, and it really still did not set me up. It's really hard to until you're in the situation and become submersed. But what I did find is I became involved immediately as soon as I could with different teams and clubs, and meeting as many folks as I could and learning the language. I took language classes before I went abroad. I took classes while I was there. So really just being open to feedback, being patient with yourself. It is going to be tiring if you're learning different cultures and different languages, but it was the best thing I could have done that early in my life, in my 20s, because it really grew my confidence. And then when I would go back to these large corporations, folks were very impressed that I had been to Egypt. I had been to all of these different countries that a lot of folks plan on doing when they retire. I thought, well, you're so young. How have you gone to all of these places? And I said, well, it was afforded through living and working abroad. And it was not easy. There was a lot of paperwork involved. There was a lot of days where I was just exhausted from translating. But I learned a lot about myself. And I do talk about some kind of fun moments I had in the book about how I improved my career from just saying yes and giving it a try. So how to prepare, being open, speaking with folks, doing as much research as you can, and just having an open mind, but being acknowledgeable that you're going to change and you're going to transition in whatever way that role takes you, and just be open to new ideas.
We experienced a lot of situations like COVID happened, and all of a sudden the whole world changes. But are there one instance particular that was difficult, but it turned out in the end that was a great learning experience that you want to share with us?
Only one. There's quite a few, but I would say I wasn't proficient in a lot of languages yet, but I had a boss that needed some particular HTML files. And I went to some colleagues that spoke those different languages. And I said, hey, I'd like to bring you a coffee. I'm writing a script. And this was before you had a lot of software that could do that for you. And so we became really good friends because we were helping one another and they were learning about me and I was learning about them. And from that experience of just going to strangers and saying, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I need, how can I help you in return? I ended up transferring that contract from 3.5 months to 4 years because I was building a network within that organization at Hewlett Packard. And I have a lot of good friends that still work there today that I'm in touch with. So it wasn't something I was expecting, but it came from just being open and understanding that there's still room for me to learn and grow. And if I can find others that are willing to support my journey, then maybe one day I can pay it forward. And that's part of the book too, really helping others in their career journey, just as I've had that opportunity from being willing to say, I'm not sure yet, let me find out. I'd love to learn more about that subject. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And just being open to different opportunities as they come my way.
I also try to do a little bit of research before I go anywhere. And
yes,
but there's always things that happen. I mean, I was in the Navy and I had several units reporting to me, and I would send them to various places, to Bahrain, to Korea and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I would usually show up a couple days in advance, stay to the start of the exercise, handle whatever it was, and get out of Dodge as quick as I could. But I thought, well, yeah, we're in Korea. Why not hire some language experts from Monterey School of Languages that the military has? So I brought over 6 of them, and they're enlisted. And it turns out that they were in uniform, and the Korean officers wouldn't talk to them because they were enlisted. Same thing with the Bahraini officers and women in high position. So I had to change things. So I brought over another group. I said, leave your uniforms at home. You're civilian, consultants. That worked fine.
Yeah.
I had a woman I put in as CO of the unit that I had in Bahrain, and her XO was a Navy captain. And so I switched them on the paperwork, but in reality, there was no switch. But the Bahraini would talk to him. He would go to her and get the answers. She would operate, but not necessarily in the same capacity as the org chart was. But you have to do things when you're operating in different environments in order to make things happen.
And you're that's a good point. You move forward with what you know at the time, and then you course correct as you learn more. And it's good to have a bit of a plan and understand that things will change, but just being open to having those conversations. And I do the same thing. I'll come on board and say, here's what I know. Here's what my assumptions are, and can we clarify the scope? Or if you go on, say, holiday or vacation, you'll maybe know 1 or 2 things you'd like to do. And when you go on that tour, you'll say, hey, what else should I see while I'm here? Or where else should I go? So that word of mouth is really key, but also asking. But then the important thing is listening. Like, oh, I already know that. I already heard that. Okay, maybe you do. You've already been to that, but you didn't know about that particular feature, or you didn't know about that particular item. So you can always learn a little bit more if you're just willing to actually listen and return to the question that you've just asked, which is a skill. It doesn't come easy, but it should be in my opinion, part of your brand of really being having a good dialogue, not being spoken at or talking to people, but talking with them.
How can employees today use AI to help them to retool for promotions, for job changes, for basically their own career development? What would you recommend to people about that?
I'd recommend acknowledging that it's not going anywhere, right? It is going to be here, and you're better off becoming as familiar as you can and really utilizing it as, I like to use it as an assistant. I've written this really wonderful email, in my opinion. I put it through, can you check the flow? Can you check the grammar? And it might see something that you haven't seen. And so it's really a nice way to strengthen the skills that you already have and reinforce the knowledge that you already possess, but just as an extra set of eyes or another element, another tool. And if you treat it as that way, I think you can use it for, I like to say, good, not evil, but utilizing it to help you be the best version of yourself, or just to get things done as quickly as you can if you only have a moment's notice. It's great for templates. It's great for outlines. Giving you at least not a blank page to stare at, but what are the top things that I should think about while I'm doing this next A through Z item? And it can give you some talking points or items to get your mind moving in that direction.
I think there's an expression that goes something like, if you see everything that looks like a nail, the only tool you use is a hammer. I'm paraphrasing it, but we don't use AI nearly, I mean, not even a 10% of what it's capable of. And it's part of, well, if all I want to know is the time, I can go to a number of different places. I don't have to have AI tell me what time it is. But there are things that AI can do, but you have to tell it exactly who it is, why you're doing it, who's going to get it, what you expect there is. I mean, I have a 2-page prompt that I use when I start going into a certain part of the body that I want to know certain kinds of information that's going on. And I usually have, I'm going to say, at least an hour a day conversation with AI on various things, everything from weather to who knows what, because it's just, I find it to be a very good, comfortable tool to work with.
Yeah, and it's very similar to a scope statement in a project or a survey of a signage project. It's only going to be as good as what you put in. So your prompt engineer, and you can do lots of wonderful things with it. You can say, have this tone at such and such %, or have it in the style of, or provide it in a condensed form, or remove some of the pronouns. I'm very adamant about heavy pronoun usage. I talk about it in chapter 3, my journalism session that I had in my education, and it really resonated with me to write economically. So AI can really be that tool to help you. And then be thoughtful, of course, about plagiarism and other people's works. You still need to have your proper citations, but you can really benefit from having that extra resource at your disposal. And there's so many different ones now, so you can experiment and see which one works best for you.
I saw something actually this past week where you ask it, you have a prompt, but you have to continually prompting. Okay, you finally get to what you want. And then when you get there, you ask AI, this is what I wanted. What prompt should I have given you in order to get here in the first place? And so, it's learning you as much as it's learning itself. And so that is a good way. When you finally get something the way you want it, ask it, how can I get this again without going through everything else? So
yeah, part of that machine learning, right? So that is good that you recognize that, and it is really helpful, and it will just streamline your communication dialogue with that tool later on. So, and you can copy and paste and put it in a notepad or whatever you want to do, or it will track your history, but just being really careful. And that was something I had to really think about when I wrote the book. It has to be authentic and has to sound as if it is you. So you have to really provide a lot of notes about how to utilize it when it's appropriate and how it's appropriate and when.
Nicole, how do people get your book? How do they get in touch with you? And do you have anything coming up in the near future people need to know about?
Yes, absolutely. So twohorseproductions.com is our main page, and you do have a product link that you can have more information about the book. It's also available on Amazon. And Instagram, you can see there at Corporate Coach Approach, and also at Two Horse Productions 605. The 605 is key. There is another Two Horse Productions otherwise, and Facebook as well. As far as projects going forward, I have a few outlines for both leadership and project management, and also might be doing some other fun creative narratives also. So really excited to see what 26 brings. At the moment, I'm providing a lot of interviews with podcasts and different written articles. And this is a great example of the podcasts and series and interviews that I am doing promoting this book. So I really appreciate you having me here today.
Okay, we're live streaming TV. We're not a podcast, but that's just part of our network here. But actually, it begs the question before we end the program today. What was the inspiration for Two Horse Productions?
Actually, so my business partner and I, it's both our Chinese zodiac. We're both horses. And we always have had each other's back, and we have a yin and yang quality. And so it's just kind of been a fun way to represent ourselves and having that horsepower behind all that we do and all that we work. So, and they're beautiful creatures. And we just really love that aspect of supporting one another in our career paths and our career journey. And it's really resonated well with the community. We actually partnered with a good friend of ours, Daniel James, fine artist, and he supported us with our iteration, and we did collaborative sessions and artwork on both the book cover and our corporate logo.
Nicole, I really enjoyed our conversation today. I look forward to talking to you again. We have other programs here on the USA Global TV and Radio Network that I know would be ideal for you and your book. So that I really appreciate. So thank you so much, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. I do as well. Have a great rest of your day.
I shall do my best. Red O'Laughlin here. We're wrapping up the show today on USA Global TV and Radio Network, and the show is called The Wise Ones. You can see the owls behind me as part of that decor. My next show starts in about 20 minutes. It's called Talking Heads, and my topic today is staying healthy as we age. And I'm trying to fill in some of the blanks of we don't know what we don't know. And so if you know a little bit about this and you're aware about that and you're educated on this, maybe you can make better decisions. And that's what the whole purpose is about. So please join me next week on The Wise Ones. And please join me again here in 20 minutes on Talking Heads. Rhett O'Loughlin, tuning out here on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Bye now.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.